Hi, good afternoon, all of you. In this session, we are going to understand expatriation and repatriation in the international business. Okay, so now let's understand at the beginning repatriation. Repatriation refers to the termination of the overseas assignment and coming back to the home country or to the country where the headquarter is located or to the home subsidiary from she was expatriated. Okay, so there is the employee who has been assigned the overseas position, okay, who has been assigned the overseas position, and he will be coming back to the home country or headquarter office of the headquarters. Okay, this is known as repatriation. Repatriation is nothing but the termination of the employee who has been assigned the international operation, who is coming back to the home country or to the country where the headquarter is located. So this is known as repatriation. Okay, so this is quite opposite to the expatriate or expatriation. So now let's understand very clearly what are the steps involved in repatriation. What are the process under which repatriation of an employee is being taken place? Let's understand in the first stage, preparation. Second stage, physical relocation. Third stage, transition. Fourth, readjustment. So these are the four steps which are there in the repatriation activity. Now let's understand one by one in detail. Preparation. Approximately 5 to 3 months before the expat returns to the home country, he or she should be taken through a re-entry stage followed by actual repatriation. So this involves developing plans for the future and collecting information about the new position the expat is likely to occupy after returning home. During the pre-entry stage, the mentor can play an advisory role in finding the expat a suitable position within the organization. The company may provide a checklist of items to be considered while leaving the host country assignment. Okay, so this is the first important stage. Second, physical relocation. This stage involves removal of personal belongings, breaking ties with colleagues and friends, and traveling to the next posting, usually the home country. Professional re-entry training should also be given to expat and his or her family that covers social cultural contrast, orientation, and updated political and social issues and changes in the home country, and job opportunities for the partners, an evaluation of the experiences in the host culture, and the psychological aspects of repatriation. Okay, so this is the stage where we are going to take all these activities for the expat to be relocated physically. Third, transition in this space in which the transition phase in which expatriate and his or her family readjust to their return to the home country. Some companies hire relocation consults to assist in this stage also. Typical activities include acquiring the temporary accommodation for the expat, making the arrangements for housing, schooling of the children, okay, performing necessary administrative tasks. Example: renewing the driving license that suits to the headquarter or home country, applying for medical insurance, opening bank passbook, all bank accounts, all these which are activities coming under the transition stage. So fourth one is readjustment. This stage involves coping with reverse culture shock and the expatriates career demands on the organization. Generally, the more the host country culture differs from the home country culture, the more difficult their integration process will be. Likewise, the more successful the expat was in the host culture, the more difficult it is to adjust to him with the home country environment. Okay, so these are the process under which repatriation is being taken place. It is an important HR activities of the professionals, HR professionals who are working for the multinational organization. So another important the term expatriate. A firm's employees who are transferred from their headquarters into the some other area that is called host country region, okay, of the firm's international operations. So this is known as expatriation or expatriate. Okay, expatriate is an employee of the multinational company who has been assigned some positions in the host country subsidiary to take up the job in the host country. Okay, so this is the process. It is known as expatriate. Expatriate is a person who might be recruited, who might be selected from any part of the globe and assigned him or her to the international operations. Okay, Dubai is a country where the population is composed predominantly of expatriates. Okay, so where the countries like Indians and Pakistan, Bangladesh, Philippines, with only 20% of the population made up of the citizens of Dubai. Most popular expatriate destinations are Sweden, Spain, followed by Germany and Britain. Now, so let's understand the classification of international staff. Parent country nationals. Nationality of of employee is the same as that of the headquarters of the multinational firm. Okay, for example, a German employee working at Chinese subsidiary of Volkswagen, so he is an expatriate. Okay, and nationality of employee is same as that of the local subsidiary. Okay, so that is, for example, a Chinese employee working at the Chinese subsidiary of Volkswagen. So this is the example for HCN, host country nationals. Third country, nationality of employee is neither that of the headquarters nor that of the local subsidiary. Okay, for example, an Indian employee working at the Chinese subsidiary of Volkswagen. Okay, so this is all about the advantages and disadvantages of this expatriation that you could be able to refer it. Now, so let's understand some of the international assignment process. Okay. International assignment process is commonly considered to three distinct stages. One is selection and preparation, actual assignment, and repatriation. Now, now let's understand one by one in detail. Selection criteria for expatriation. The first major study in this area was carried out by Tugg based on a review of the literature on the selection of a personnel for the assignments abroad. She has identified the four groups of variables that contribute to success or failure on the job and hence should be used to guide the selection for the HR professionals in the multinational organization. Number one, technical competency of the job. Technical competence, technical knowledge and skill on the job. Personal traits or relational abilities. Okay, this refers to the ability of an individual to deal with uh, superiors, peers effectively, and subordinates, business associates, and with his or her clients. Number three, ability to cope with the environmental variables. Okay, for the expatriate. So, environment in the host country is entirely different from his motherland. Okay, so that needs to be understood very clearly. Family situation is also different. How they are go hand in hand. So, how they are moving to the host country location. So, what are their attitudes towards the international operations? Number two, preparation. In order to prepare individuals who have been selected for the international posting and facilitate their adjustment to the foreign culture, diverse cultural programs have to be developed and should be inculcated. The content and focus of these programs are contingent upon factors such as individual's cultural background, culture specific features of the host country environment, the individual's degree of contact with the host country environment, the assignment length, okay, individual's family situation, and his or her language skills. So these are the factors to be kept in mind while designing a program to give the training, cultural training for the employee who has been assigned international operations. Repatriation, third stage. It has been recognized that the return to one's own country after a prolonged stay abroad is subject to adjustment challenges similar to those the initial transfer. In one study, Lazaronova and Caligari examined 11 repatriation support practices. Number one, pre-departure briefings on what to expect during repatriation, career planning session, an agreement outlining the type of position assignee will be offered upon while after repatriation, mentoring program while an assignment, reorientation programs about the changes in the company when he comes back, repatriation training seminars on emotional responses following repatriation, and financial counseling and financial and tax assistance, and with regard to the financial matters, okay, counseling is being conducted, ongoing communication with the home office, etc. Expatriate adjustment during assignment. Expatriates are workers in the foreign country, foreign company, foreign countries company, who engage in work of on temporary basis. They expose the foreign culture, which involve high level of stress and uncertainty prevailing in the international assignments in the international culture. What are the modes of expatriate adjustments? What are the models of expatriate adjustment? What are the challenges before expatriation, expatriate? So whenever he has been assigned for the international operation, okay. So this could be understood very clearly with this chart, okay. So all those things must be studied keenly and make a note of it. And if you are not understanding any concept, get back to me and I will be clarifying the doubts. Now, benefits of expatriation for an individual and for organizations. During the assignment, during short run, what are the benefits are there for the individual who has been assigned for the international operation? Number one, task performance, skill building, learning, growth, adjustment, job satisfaction. Okay, all these benefits to the individual at the assignment stage during the assignment activity. What are the benefits for the organization? Accomplishment of organizational task in the foreign operations in the foreign country, achievement of key organizational objectives such as control, coordination, knowledge transfer, etc. So what are the advantages, what are the benefits for the individual after the assignment of the international operation? Number one, continued development, attractive future assignment, development of contacts with key people, promotion, enlargement of responsibility. These are there for the individual, being an individual who has been assigned for the international operations. So there are certain organizational benefits like retention of repatriated employee, utilization of new expat, okay, and transfer of expertise, encouragement of international mobility among the colleagues, willingness to accept the future international transfers, okay, all these things. Sometimes, apart from all the precautions to be taken while expatriation is being taken place, sometimes the expatriation activity will be failed. So now let's understand what are the reasons for the failure of expatriate in the foreign operations. Okay. Number one, cultural adjustment, language differences, foreign service hardship. Okay, number of difficulties he could able to find in the foreign land with the operational process. Length of assignment is too big, and schooling work for their children. Accommodation problem may occur, and healthcare access is also one of the challenge before the expatriate activity for the individual. What are the benefits for US firms? Inability of the office or her spouse to adjust, manager's inability to adjust, the other family problems which may crop up, manager personal and emotional immaturity is also one of the reason for the US firms to fail in the international operations, ability to cope with larger overseas responsibilities, Japanese firms' inability to cope with the large overseas responsibilities, difficulty with the new environment, personal and emotional problems, lack of technical competency, inability of the spouse to adjust with him. Okay, these might be the problem of the failure of expatriate in Japanese firm. Managing the expatriate failure, that is very important. Okay, after understanding what are the reasons for the failure of the expatriation, so have we need to have to manage the expatriate process activities for the success. Premature return of an expatriate, underperformance during the international assignment. So this is one of the important the thing. So his performance has to be increased. Okay, and design a job that maximize role clarity, minimizes the role conflict with proper selection of the candidate for the international operations, provide opportunity for him to learn the languages where he has been assigned, provide all information and equipments pertinent to the role what he is going to play in the international operations, provide proper organization support system from the supervisors and co-workers in the host country opportunity, include the spouse in any training and supporting program as well, then it will be very successful for the expatriation activities. Steps to success: develop comprehensive, culturally appropriate corporate plans, and that leads to the success of the expatriation program. Establish clear, realistic international objectives with bicultural strategies for the implementation. Selection process must be suited. Accurate and adequate information must be accessible. Communicate frequently and very clearly with the expatriates, training and orientation, support services, strategic planning for re-entry and re-entry support. Okay, so these are the things that should be analyzed and extend the support to the expats by the organization or by the HR professionals, and then we could able to see the success. So other the reasons why we could able to see the success in the expatriation: coordination, technical assistance, problem sharing, social gathering and interactions in the host country environment, feedback, organizational support, spouse support program, etc. So these are the supporting systems that must be extended by the organization as a whole for the expatriates in foreign land. Training and development for the expatriate. Why are training and development becoming an increasingly important issue in the international staffing? What are the benefits for the company? What is the benefits and importance for the company when we give the training and development programs for the expat? It increases the productivity, response to changes in technologies, motivational tool, retention and retention tool, reduce employees turnover, succession planning supporting tool, increase quality and client satisfaction, improve quality image. Okay, so these are the things which are benefited for the company in the process of training and development for the expat. What are the benefits for the employee for going to international operations, to take up the international operations in the host country? Increase motivation, job satisfaction and morale, increase career development possibilities. Okay, So therefore, we do have some differences between these two concepts like training and development. Training is a learning process that involves acquisition of knowledge, sharpening skills, changing attitudes and behaviors to increase employee performance on the current job. Whereas development is concerned, whereas development is a process that enables people to progress from a present state of understanding and capability to a future state in which higher level skills, knowledge, and competencies are required. Okay, it takes the form of learning activities that prepare people to exercise wider and increase responsibility with less emphasis on current duties. So, therefore, the training is used systematic and planned content to promote learning among the expert. Okay, and training is a short term and its specific purpose for which the training is being taken place. Development is a long term orientation, continuous basis. So, we are monitoring the capabilities and performance of the employee in the developmental activities. So, this is all about expatriation and impatriations, repatriations. Sorry. Okay, with this we can conclude. I'll come up. I'll come to you with next concepts. Okay. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Bye.